Welcome back to the Goal2Go podcast, man. Episode 38. Still first round of the playoffs going on, man. Has some good series. Some teams already punched their ticket to the next round. We'll talk about them. You know, we got hot or not, and then we're going to break down current playoff scenarios, man. So let's jump right into this hot or not. I'll start you off with mine right now. Considering, you know, this is a topic that we were texting about earlier this week. Hot or not, Jimmy Butler is a better Heat player than Dwayne Wade.
I'm going to say that's a hot take just because, you know, for one, Wade was drafted there and everything he's done for that team. Better Heat player overall, I think, is a stretch, but I think I have a hot or not for you that we'll get into that we'll answer something else, but I think that is a hot take. Jimmy Butler has done a lot for the Heat, but I don't think he's a better overall player for the Heat than what D-Wade was. D-Wade, he's iconic, man. Wade County, and you know how long he was there for, the tenure and everything. Like, I don't think he's a better Heat player overall than Jimmy, so I'm going to say that is a hot take.
All right, yeah, I respect it. I just want to see where your head was at with that one, bro. I don't
know, but during the game, bro, when Jimmy put up fucking 56, bro, it was feeling like it.
It was feeling like that.
And you were there in person.
The 305, yeah, bro. It definitely was. Kensia, I don't even know how to say it right now. Whatever. Miami Heat Stadium, that shit was jumping, man. Jimmy definitely had it rocking. So I definitely see where you're coming from in that moment, bro. But my next one up, hot or not, it's time for the Clippers to blow up their core.
Basically have the same exact questions, bro. I'm gonna say that's not a hot take. Now, I don't think it will happen, but you know, based off of everything that has happened this entire season, and when you say core, I'm guessing like PG, Kawhi, and Russ, and you know, Russ being a free agent this offseason, it's gonna be tough to move off of PG and Kawhi. Kawhi's just signing that extension. I don't know who's gonna want to take their contracts. I think Kawhi's due over $40 million in the next 2 years, and he has a player option close to 50. So it's going to be tough to move out those contracts. But, I mean, if you're the Clippers, man, if you're a fan of the Clippers, it's just got to be tough, man. You know, every time something looks like it's going right, every time it looks bright, it's just an injury ruins it, bro. And it's just tough to see, man. You hate injuries. Yeah, it has to be, you know, the same players getting injured over and over again. But at the end of the day, man, you know, saying we always fall back on, man, your best ability is availability. And right now, PG and Kawhi seem to be the two most unavailable players.
Yeah, Kawhi, 45 annual base salary. He signed a 4-year, 176. 2025, he's an unrestricted free agent. So, yeah, definitely some time on that. You mentioned the injuries. I mean, the first 2 games when Kawhi played, it was looking up. Like, You know, you had Kawhi. If you get to the next round, maybe get PG back.
We were literally talking about him being the best playoff performer of our time. Like, when he's on the court, there's no doubt. Yeah. It's just unfortunate, you know. Zaza had to change the course of his career.
Bro, I know Kawhi's like real low key, bro, but I know in his head sometimes he goes back to that moment. And he's like, maybe I changed, like.
Swear it all went wrong, man.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it went right because then he went to Toronto and got his ring. You feel me? But
I mean,
we'll never know.
You take your wins and losses. You got a chip, but who knows? Maybe he's got 2, maybe 3. Well, I mean, he has 2 already, But
like as that guy on that team.
Yeah, he was young in San Antonio. Definitely a key part, but yeah, he wasn't.
Because even if he doesn't get injured and stays in San Antonio and, you know, maybe wins 2 more, it's still going, like, he could have been the main guy, but it's going to be like, you know, San Antonio culture, like Popovich's system. I mean, but in Toronto, there was no doubt. Like, without Kawhi, there's just no chance that team does anything remotely near what happened.
Yeah, it definitely was. Hot or not, man, Suns Nuggets will be the best second round series.
That's gonna be tough, just because I think that's the only like confirmed series we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say that is a hot take, and I'm gonna project the Lakers and Warriors winning, and I'm gonna say that series could possibly be better in the West. I mean, it's just the star power, the rivalry between LeBron and Golden State. This time it's on a new team. You take out KD, but now you add Anthony Davis, some new pieces to that rivalry or whatever. I just think, the coverage that is going to be on that game, that series. And like we mentioned before, we were talking about last week, some of the greatest playoff performers, of our generation. I mean, LeBron and Steph Curry in the past few years, that's like as good as it gets in the postseason. You want to see the superstars of the league go head to head, and I think that possibly could be a better series.
Yeah, that coverage is definitely going to be crazy. You said it. I mean, LeBron, Curry, two of the biggest names in basketball in the past,
decade,
yeah,
really.
10 years. So it's definitely going to be crazy.
It's like the final chapter between these two. Like, they're both playing at a very high level. Will we see them again, playing this well against each other? It's not really,
Guaranteed at all. Yeah. I definitely see it. And that's a rematch between the reason the Suns Nuggets rematch from when Jokic got ejected and Booker was going at it. So there's bad blood on that side. Nuggets get Jamal Murray back. Talk about having a series. He's got it on pace right now for the Nuggets.
Yeah, he's turned up in the playoffs as well. Another one of those guys that, when the light's the brightest, he performs the best.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, you look at it, it's going to be a good series, but I'm not mad. I could definitely see that one being the biggest series there is. But we'll have to see. It's the only series confirmed.
Or another one, I think if the Celtics win, I think it'll be 76ers and Celtics.
It would
round
be.
2, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that rivalry or that history, I think that'll be also a very, very good series. Although this season it seems to, like, Boston's had the edge, but, come to the postseason, things slow down a little bit. Boston looking a little shaky right now. So Embiid getting time to rest, more days off to heal. I think that'll be a good series as well, but I'm banking on the Lakers and the Warriors winning and saying that would be the best round 2 series. Now, if they don't win or whatever, something changes, then I think possibly Phoenix and Denver could be a really, really interesting matchup.
Yeah. Kind of looks like the Lakers are kind of solidified, up 3-1 against the Grizz.
Mm-hmm.
Ja, he's still playing his heart out, but really no help right now. Dylan Brooks playing like the worst player on the planet. I mean,
the least efficient shooter in the playoffs right now.
Least efficient shooter, and I mean every statistical category he's either last or second.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I could definitely see that. The Kings, on the other hand, 2-2 with the Warriors going back to Sacramento. But the key part is De'Aaron Fox with that finger injury, playing with that splint on. I think they play today at 10.
They do play tonight.
Yeah, so they play tonight at 10. We got the Knicks, Cavs. That game's on right now. Same with the Lakers, Grizzlies. Knicks were up last time. Was it the Grizzlies up right now, or is that the Lakers
Yeah,
up?
the Grizzlies are up right now, end of the first.
Yeah. I mean, 3-1. They could afford to lose this one no matter what. But we'll see.
Knicks up 10.5.
The Knicks up 10, yeah. They were up like 14, 15 earlier.
I think Memphis was up 14 in the first.
We'll see. Heat 9:30, trying to close it out, up 3-1. But before you even hit me with your hot or not, while we're already here, actually hit me with your hot or not. We'll probably talk about it in a minute.
All right, so we'll stay on pace with the Miami Heat questions. So it's kind of pretty much the same question you asked me, but just a little different tweak. So, hot or not, Jimmy Butler is the best Miami Heat playoff performer?
Just one game or just through his stretch?
Like, just his career in Miami.
I'm going to say it's a little bit of a hot take. He's definitely up there, and I would give him that credit, but I knew you were going to ask this question, so I was looking at stats, and I just pulled up, what I remember when I was 12 years old with LeBron James on the Heat. I mean, Dwade, my favorite player, is a Heat fan, and his playoff performances when nobody was there when they were in the playoffs, didn't really win when he was going up against the Hornets, had the purple shirt guy talking shit on the sideline.
Yeah.
But all I can think about is, man, Game 6 against the Boston Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals, 3-2. LeBron drops 45, 15, and 5. Now, 56 points from Jimmy, crazy. What he did in the bubble run to get him there, what he did last year to get him there. Yeah, you could say LeBron had more help, more superstars around him. But if you just look at his stats, this is just against the Celtics, 22, 35, 35. Like, the consistency LeBron put up in 45 points back in the day, I mean, that might as well be 56 today, if you kind of think about it a little bit. But, I mean, Jimmy's up there. I'm not going to say it's a crazy take. He definitely makes a case for it. But LeBron's got those championships, something you could back up with it. So I'm not ready to put him there yet. But in my opinion, Jimmy gives his heart. And it's really unmatched, like, because he is the heart and soul of this team. Like,
Yeah.
LeBron had Dwade, Chris Bosh to pick it up. Even the role players stepping up. Right now, it's just Jimmy, man. Like, Bam sucks once again in the playoffs. Big moments, he gets, I don't know, scared. He doesn't show up. Caleb Martin had a nice showing, but Jimmy is one of the greatest Heat playoff performers of all time. And he should be in that conversation.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any arguing that. Moving on, staying in the East. Hot or not, the Knicks are true contenders and have a legit chance to win the East. I'm
going to say that's a hot take. And when I asked you this a few months back, you also said the same thing. And they look like a legit team, but I just don't see them now. The Heat are able to close out, and the Knicks the same way. Both teams up 3-1 right now. It would be Heat Knicks playing in there, and I just kind of like the Heat matchup. You break it down, Julius Randle, Bam could guard him, even if he's not the one guarding him.
And he's looked bad this series as well. Julius Randle hasn't really been doing anything. It's been all Brunson.
Exactly, and that's my next point. Even if Randle gets it going, you put Jimmy on Brunson, I mean, that's a wrap. And I mean, you could even put Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry. Those are no scrub defenders when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Now they'll probably try to get those matchups with Brunson versus Strus or Duncan, but I just like the way that the Heat match up with them. And if it is that team, I like the Heat in that series. The only difference maker I would say would probably be Mitchell Robinson, and the big man on the court, because if he's non-existent, I think the Heat win that series, but he's going to be that X factor. It really decides.
Yeah, because, I mean, Heat really have, like, no true, like 7-footer or big center to put on him. I mean,
Zeller off the bench,
yeah.
You're not, exactly, so.
And if you want to move Bam there, like, then who do you have on Randle? The matchups come.
You might throw Caleb Martin at him.
Or Jimmy,
Highsmith. Highsmith was playing some clamps when he got in the game.
That hurt.
Obviously no offense really, but I mean he was out there really doing some good things on defense, getting big minutes in a big game. So credit to him. And then also if you even look past the Heat, the Celtics, they match up well. They got that big man to match up with them, and then some, and then you got Tatum and Brown. I think it's too much firepower for the Knicks. You're really asking Brunson to be a elite superstar with the way Randall's playing, and I don't expect anything from RJ Barrett. I'm not.
Although last game, I don't know about tonight, but last game he had a pretty good score. I think he had like 22 or 26 or something like that.
I think he's had 2 good games, but I'm still not buying into the RJ Barrett. Now I like him, but I don't see him being a star in this league.
You don't think he could be like a borderline all-star?
Could be a borderline all-star, but I'm thinking him as really as like a swing man, like a 3 option,
like a wing,
3 and D
role player.
But like he's really doesn't have the 3. He's more like a slasher,
I guess, I mean, and I think
it's been how many years since he's been
playing with Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, who have really, really elevated their games. he's been able to, take a step back, and now he's not seeing, like the best defenders on the team. Whereas, the last few years when it was like just RJ and Julius, he was getting the best perimeter defender. Now
they're on Brunson.
They're on Brunson. So he gets, better looks. So I understand that. And then this is pretty, like, we pretty much had the same, like, question as me for the Clippers. So just, like, your take on, the Clippers' future. So how or not the Clippers have a very grim future.
I'm going to say that is a hot take. I'm giving it one more year between Kawhi and PG. And honestly, when I made this hot or not, I was kind of agreeing with you that they could kind of need to blow up that core. But I was watching JJ Redick today, and he was talking about, they're building a new stadium. You got to be able to fill those seats. You get rid of Kawhi and PG, try to rebuild. You're not filling those seats. You're not selling those tickets. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, but if Kawhi and PG are injured, like, those seats, no one's going to come watch. That's the same thing. You feel me?
100%. But at this point, you're so deep into it.
But I
like
get what you're saying.
Digging yourself, like, which way do you want to go? I mean, you might as well rock with it at this point. Russ probably gone. He's an unrestricted free agent. Maybe you get some type of, not really a name, but add some players, man. Try to add some depth to the team and really hope that they can stay healthy.
I mean, the Clippers already have a pretty decent, like,
no,
solid
they got a
depth.
good
Like,
rotation, yeah.
They have players
Maybe
that
get rid
can
of
come
Nick
off the
Batum.
bench and can help, Terrence Mann, Norman Powell. I know Bones Highland, he's like a shot chucker, but if his shot's falling, it's solid. Eric Gordon, like, they have decent role players that can come in. Like, when PG and Kawhi are healthy, that can play their role. It's just,
they had no other superstars.
Can they be healthy,
up.
man?
They asked Russ to turn back the clock, and he gave them 2 games to turn back the clock.
And, I mean, when you have 2, like, max-level players like Kawhi and PG, you don't really, like,
you shouldn't think about
you shouldn't need,
max,
like,
yeah.
like, someone else step up. Like, you have 2 guys that, you're thinking, like, damn, hopefully these 2 can be reliable enough. And it's just unfortunate, the situation going on out there in LA right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's funny but kind of fucked up how, the Lakers look like they'll probably be advancing and the Clippers are already bounced out. And, this season, like, the Clippers had the record over them. They were better record, overall and record against the Lakers. But now it's just like, little brother, big brother, man. At the end, big brother always wins. No, Lakers just always get their way. So
that's what JJ Redick said, man. He's like, little brother trying to get out the shadows and still can't, even when it looks up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I do want to say something about, he said something really cool about Kawhi. When he was in Philly training in Brooklyn, he was there and Kawhi was rehabbing, I think, the quad injury. And he said Kawhi's really meticulous because there was questions of, does Kawhi even want to play? Like, why, this and that. Like, he had it down to a T what he needed to do as far as rehabbing and coming back. And, you could say Kawhi doesn't care about the game. He doesn't really want to be out there. It doesn't matter for him. Load management's different. I think if Kawhi could have actually played, he would have, considering he needs patella knee surgery, I think. I mean,
torn his meniscus, yeah.
Oh, his meniscus? Yeah. So you're really asking a lot. And, for him to stay healthy, we really haven't seen it.
I mean, like, I've seen all the reports and stuff. Like, even, I think, like, when it was happening last year when he was out, with that injured knee or whatever, they were saying, like, his workouts, like, trying to get back was insane. Like, he was looking really, really good. Like, he was, like, working out, rehabbing really, really well. So, I don't know if Kawhi's, like, like, love for the game or will to play was ever in question. It's just, can he stay healthy? That's always been the issue. Like, I've seen those reports. Like, I heard,
they were questioning.
Like, they were saying, I don't think you can question it because, like you said, like,
exactly,
because these reports, like, they've been out. Like, I remember, like, when Kawhi got injured and he wasn't playing, they were saying, like, no, like, when working out, like, this dude's, like, looks like fucking Jordan. Like, he's going absolutely crazy. Like no one was stopping him in workouts. Like, he was working out really, really good. So, Kawhi wants to play. And then you see it when he's on the court. Like we said, these first 2 games, like, he was damn near unstoppable against this Phoenix team. But it's just the injuries, man. It sucks.
Yeah, definitely does. That was your third hot or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap up our hot or not. And obviously, the Clippers getting into a new stadium as well, finally getting out of Big Bro's kind of shadows. So we'll see about that. Before we get into it, Heat up 3-1 on the Bucks. Obviously, we're going to talk playoffs and the scenarios going on right now. Might as well start with this because there has only been 5 8 seeds to defeat number 1 seed in the playoffs. I believe the last time, I forget.
What was it, like the fucking like We Believe Warriors or some shit? Like,
no, but that Warriors team did win. With Monte Ellis maybe and Steph Curry, I think it was.
No, I think it was a little before Steph Curry, but it was Monte Ellis. It was Baron Davis.
Baron Davis, yeah.
And I think somebody else too, I think.
I know Zebo and those Grizzlies was a part of the number 8 seed. Warriors in 2007, Grizzlies in 2011 against the Spurs.
Zebo.
So it's only been 5 times. And then forget who it was, but 5 times Heat trying to make it 6.
I mean, Giannis' injury definitely helped, you know. He was able to steal a game without arguably the best player in the world on the court.
Nah, and he came back and he opened that game dominating, getting baskets, getting to the rack. And once again, you see a true big man expose the Heat and Brook Lopez dropping 30-something effortlessly.
He had it going.
Giannis triple-double. Holiday was playing solid defense on Butler, just causing him, trying to get those switches Jimmy was all night, get Drew off him, because if he was poking the ball, making Jimmy work for extra baskets.
Defensively, yeah, but offensively down the stretch, Drew Holiday was not good that game.
Yeah, he did hit a big 3 in the fourth. Same with Chris Middleton.
And turned it over.
Yeah,
well, I think he had 2 big turnovers down the stretch.
Giannis with one of the turnovers.
I know Drew had one for sure.
Yeah, he probably did.
And I think he missed the open, like a corner 3 as well down the stretch. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Chris Middleton, he kind of fouled out of that game.
Yeah, he like disappeared, bro. Like,
yeah, defensive liability. He might have hit like 2 or 3 shots. I don't even remember. But it was the Jimmy show, and then Caleb Martin stepped up big time.
Yeah, Caleb Martin hit 2 big threes, and one was with Giannis on him in the corner. That was a really,
That's when
really
he
big
hit that.
three. Yeah.
It wasn't even a FaceTime. He just covered his whole face after the shot. Kyle Lowry, big steal. His defense, of course, he'll always bring that. Gabe Vincent had a poor game somewhat. Yeah. Bam had a poor game, as always.
I mean, it was a classic Lowry game. Like, I don't know, like, on the offense, like, it was down the stretch when the Heat were making that comeback in the fourth quarter. I think Jimmy just scored. You know, he have the momentum. They got to stop. Crowd, everyone's going crazy. And then Lowry just shoots an air ball, bro. Like, just misses, dog. I'm like, bro, like, momentum killer Kyle Lowry, bro. But, I mean, the Heat were obviously – I mean, when Jimmy was in that mode – Kyle Lowry could have fucking just handed the ball to the other team and Jimmy was going to get it back. So,
yeah,
it didn't really matter.
I think Lowry's still – so, obviously, I was at the game, and I didn't see that play where Giannis brought the ball up and Lowry poked it. Maybe it was Holiday.
But Jimmy had a dunk?
All at midcourt, yeah. Like, they were trying to call for a timeout. And Lowry, you know, just what he does, being pesky, being – like a scrappy player, creates that steal, momentum dunk, forces the timeout after that. And I think at that point, that's when I was like, all right, the Heat are actually going to win this game. Because the whole time I was like, I just wasted my money coming to this game. But that was really the swing, especially after the Caleb FaceTime. So let's see if the Heat could close it out. their game tips in an hour, so we'll see that. But definitely great performance. Giannis out helped a lot. He came back and had a triple-double.
Yeah, Giannis looked, especially down the stretch. Bro, like, I never understood. I don't know, like, how fucking pick and roll with 2 7-footers could be, like, so efficient. But what him and Brook Lopez were doing just was insane. Giannis had, like, 3 lobs to him, bro, like, in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Brook Lopez is just, like, catching it, not even looking at the fucking rim, just dunking it, bro, just putting it in the basket. So, I mean, that connection those two guys had was really, really something special. And you kind of see, like you mentioned, bro, the Heat have guards to throw at, other teams, perimeter scorers like Middleton, like Drew Holiday, where down the stretch, those two guys kind of disappeared. And, you kind of knew what it was going to be. It was either Giannis was going to the rack or he was going to hit Brook Lopez on the roll, or Lopez was going to fade and hit the corner. Like, it was a 2-man game, and they were abusing the big man because, like we said, the Heat do kind of lack size. So they were definitely taking advantage of that. It was just, Jimmy was unstoppable on the other end. You wanted it more.
Dude, it was a Jimmy show, man. Yeah. So, Knicks Cavs. Knicks now up 15 in a third. Looks like they're going to run away with it. New York, they've been turning up big time. Cavs, they really just show lack of, besides DG and Donovan on the court, just lacking those shooters. Really?
Yeah, they don't really have anyone else that can score besides those 2 guards, and both of those guards being elite. Undersized.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? There's only so many ways 2 guards under 6'3" can really score the ball. Like, they're really, really good at what they do, but it's just like it doesn't really bring any versatility to that offense. Like, Evan Mobley, he's outstanding defensively, but on the offensive side, not really much. He's still, not fully developed yet.
Him and Jared Allen are basically offensively the same player.
Yeah, it's like they're not going to really do much besides, sit in that low dunker's position and try to get the ball on the inside. And then, Okoro, he's getting pulled. They don't even contest him anymore. They just leave him open. And Karis LeVert, if he's not dribbling the ball for 10 minutes and shooting some crazy shot, it seems like he's inefficient. So it's just, outside, you hit it spot on. Outside of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, it's just they don't really have anyone else. The defense collapsed. Who are they kicking the ball to? You feel me? It's just they don't really have any other answer. Whereas the Knicks, they have Jalen Brunson, who's really, really got it going now. But Josh Hart, he's grabbing fucking 10 boards. He's hitting open threes. R.J. Barrett, he's stepping up. Quickly hasn't really been playing this great this series, but he's someone that you can't leave him open. He can knock down an open shot. So the Knicks have players, on their roster to where these guys are stepping up, where the Cavs players that we and a lot of these players had the same questions, in the big moment, can Okoro step up? Can he knock down the open shots? In the big moment, what is R.J. Barrett going to look like? Can he create his own shot? And we kind of see both of those questions getting answered right now, and the Knicks players stepping up more.
Yeah, definitely. Going to be interesting what they do kind of in the offseason. If it ends today, if they try to move, one of these big men and try to get a player that could space the floor and kind of be a wing guy that could get a bucket. So
it's like every team needs one of those guys, bro.
I mean, they're so valuable, bro. That's why the Knicks want R.J. Barrett to work so bad, because he's, 6'5", 6'6", can go get a bucket. He's long, pause. But yeah. I want to talk about that Celtics-Hawks game last night, though, because it looked like the Celtics had it.
Crazy, bro.
Ice Trey, he showed up big time, dropped 16 in the fourth quarter.
DPOI, Marcus Smart showed up big time as well, too.
I really can't believe that dude won DPOY. I mean, yeah, you saw it. Trae Young pulled that 3 down to 1 to go ahead and win it. I mean, you down 3-1, might as well either put that game on ice or, at least give yourself a chance. And he did it.
And I feel like everyone knew what was coming, bro. It's the most Trae Young shot ever, bro.
2 possessions.
He's just pulling that bitch from 35 feet, bro.
And Jaylen Brown, I mean, I think he was guarding both plays, and he still like didn't step up. He let him take it. Like
I think
at that point,
shot like 2 before that and missed.
Did he miss?
He missed one of them, bro. And then he got fouled and got to the line.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And then it's like at that point, just let him blow by you, bro. Like 4-2, like you give up the 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And especially no DeJounte Murray on the court, suspended. He wasn't there, so it's like
Trae Young could get in his ball hog bag. He shot the ball like 40 times yesterday, bro.
I mean, the Hawks needed it though. Like, who else on the Hawks was getting a bucket? Like, you're gonna ask Bogdanovich to shoot the game winner? Like I'm asking Trae Young.
He had a big shot down the stretch. Hunter had a solid game, but yeah, I mean Trae Young was just. I mean, in 38 points, he shot the ball. I think like 32, 35 times or something like that. But it was just a all-time collapse by the Boston Celtics, man.
Yeah, and I saw something. It was just like Twitter talk, but I thought it was pretty funny. Jason Tatum's a glorified Grant Williams.
I mean, after yesterday, if that's what you want to say, I believe he was 8 for 22 or something along those lines. Had like 19 points. And Jaylen Brown was the one that had a good game. He had 35, I believe.
Yeah, 8 for 21 on 1 of 10 from 3. It's yeah, so you can't even. Let's take a look at Jaylen Brown, 35 last night. So yeah, your best player doesn't step up. Obviously, you got Jaylen Brown to kind of back it up, but Trae Young closed it out, did a job, and I saw like a comparison between like the villains and how Trae Young's a villain and Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, at least Trae Young can do this, bro. He can go out and give you 38. Like, it may be on horrible efficiency, but he's also going to have 12 assists. I think he had 15 assists or something like that. He's going to give you double digits assists. He'll get to the free throw line. I think this year he's averaging, I believe, about 9 free throw attempts per game or something like that. So he affects the game in different ways. Dylan Brooks literally just talks shit.
No, yeah.
And only when they're winning. Like, did you see after the game when they lost him
he's
and
like,
Ja?
no comment?
No, him and Ja declined, like, their media press, like, after the game.
I don't even blame Ja for declining it just because of the fact that, I mean, you got to go out on the court and Dylan Brooks is your fucking teammate.
Well, I mean, they both talking, Ja, I'm fine in the West.
But that was like 4 months ago when he was healthy. The team was healthy.
Nah, you can't use that health shit, bro, because the night before he went and gave you 45 on that same hand.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. You tell me that it don't affect it. But I mean,
it doesn't matter, bro. 45 points is 45 points, dog. Like, it doesn't matter.
Because his team sucks right now.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying, like if you're going to say that, like, oh, I'm fine in the West, or if you're going to be Dylan Brooks and be like, oh, I'm going to poke the bear, like, I'm not going to respect you unless you give me 40, and then LeBron goes and gives him 20 and 20, which equals 40, like, bro, have that same energy after you lose. Like, be a man, come out and say, like.
I agree with Dylan Brooks, but, like, Ja, I mean, that's just him being, I think, really young and what he's done this season. It was probably better for him to decline a press conference at that point. But Dylan Brooks, yeah, you're gonna say I don't respect you till you give you 40 and then decline it. No, I think that was horrible.
Ja doesn't get an excuse either, bro. Like if you go,
that's
say
like
that, like
what? That's like
bro.
LeBron saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna talk about anything," and just walk out of the press conference. That's what he did.
At least he shows up. Both of the boys didn't even go.
I'm just saying, bro.
And LeBron wasn't like talking shit, bro.
No,
that one press conference before the game. I know which one you're talking about. Like when he had the suit and like, he wasn't, bro. LeBron isn't saying like, oh, like I'm not worried about these guys. They're not gonna win. Like LeBron's
I don't think Ja was talking about the Lakers either when he said I'm fine in the West. I think it was more like,
are you joking? The Lakers? He's talking about any team, fam.
The Lakers were like 13th at the time when he said that.
Okay, but fam, we all knew the like healthy LeBron and AD, and then especially after the trade deadline when he got these pieces. We knew
he said that like the All-Star game.
Shit, they not fine in the West, bro. Like
all I'm saying is,
yeah, if you say you fine in the West, bro, that means and the Lakers are a 7th seed. They the 2 seed.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be heavily favored.
That's the greatest player of all time on the court, arguably, depending on how you look at it. But
okay, you thought you was fine in the West.
I'm just saying, bro. Maybe
And
Dylan
that just
Brooks,
shows the
I'm just
like the overall culture and bro, this is
it's
like
just
the
the
third,
maturity of the team, bro.
that's what I'm about to get to. This is like the third season where the Grizzlies are in the playoffs and they just kind of fizzle out. Cause the year before, I believe, wasn't it the didn't they lose to in the play-in? Was it the Timberwolves?
I think it was Ja versus Ant last year, wasn't it?
No, because last year they lost to the Warriors in the second round, right? When Ja got injured and the Warriors went on that run. I think the year before
I'm talking about the play-in. Yeah,
they lost in
it
the
was
play-in.
the rookie year.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think it was the year after his rookie year.
Maybe it was year 2.
Because they got drafted in 19
Yeah.
when we were in. Because they were like, they're like our age. No,
Yeah.
but I believe it was a play-in. And then, second round to the Warriors. And then now this year where, these maturity things, it's like every single year, it's like, they're just too immature. They're not really stepping up. It's like, like the morale around that team. And even during the season, like with Ja and that incident, and they were like saying they were out like clubbing and partying like during the season. Like they're going to all like these cities and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, man. Listen, the idea of trading Ja for the Grizzlies, like it might be something they have to consider. Like, and depending on what happens the next couple of years, like if losing to the Warriors in 6 games in the second round is like the most you're gonna get out of this team, then it might be time to switch some shit up, bro, or pack it up.
I necessarily I kind of disagree with the Ja take. It comes down to,
because let's look at it like this. Right now, Ja's value, I wouldn't say it's as high as it's ever been, because I think before the incident, it's been higher. But it's pretty good. You can get 45 with a bad hand in the playoffs. What is the worst, like the floor, you think Ja Morant's trade value could be, considering everything that already went on? You've seen the gun incident. We've seen the injuries already. He had the ankle earlier on. He has the hand now. You see how he's jumping in the air, just throwing his body around. He's injuring his calf on a meaningless dunk down already in the playoffs, like against the Lakers. So, like, what is the worst, like the bottom worst possible his trade value could be, or his value overall?
I mean, I'm not an NBA GM.
Or like what you think, like like overall value.
It really depends, bro, because you look at it like floor right now comparable to Derrick Rose. Obviously the injuries and stuff, like both of them athletic builds, like play careless, they play high motor. And then, ceiling wise is like he could be one of the greats in the league. So you look at it, I think that gun incident and, the whole maturity issues as far as putting everything in the media light and going on live and just doing that dumb shit.
Because you had the gun incident, the hit in the teenager, whatever, the 17-year-old, whatever. And then you had the incident at the mall where he was, talking to some security guard or whatever. So, like, there's track records. So, I mean, if this is, like, where Ja is going to be at, and, the middle for the rest of his career is, like, a perennial all-star, injuries here and there, questionable off the court, but when he's on, like, he's going to give you everything he has. Like, are you winning a championship with him as your one? It's tough. Like, I don't know.
You got to get rid of, obviously, Dylan Brooks and company. Jaren Jackson, I think he's there to stay as well. If you keep Jaren on the team, I think you got a solid chance. They tried to get Bridges last year. I saw they were trying to give up like 3 picks for him and compensation. That would be a great fit.
That would be. He'd be a great fit on any team, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, just that defense, because that's the only reason they kept Brooks around, was just to guard somebody. Because, Ja's not really a defender, bro.
No, but, I mean, he tries. He gives effort.
No, yeah. He's got,
he's a super athletic. Athlete, so.
Yeah, but he's not a Mikal Bridges lockdown. He's got that, size and everything. So, I just don't know. I don't think teams are going to be so hot to pull the trigger with Ja and like that trade value you talked about.
That's what I'm saying. Like you got to do it like sooner rather than later if you're gonna do it. It's just a tough thing to do. At that point,
you just keep him. I really think they need to get a voice in that locker room. They really don't have a voice.
No,
you know, maybe like vet. Yeah. I think a PJ Tucker, he might not bring everything to the court, but he's been in the league, you know, 20 years, whatever it is. He's gonna be, you know, settled down. I was watching something. It might have been NFL wise, but you know, when you draft a player and you got those outside concerns of him going to a club, whatever, partying, come back the next day and still balls out, he might give you 30 on the court, whatever. That's not the problem. It's him taking those 5 other players on the team with him, going out to the club, and those guys, they shit the bed. So it's like you could let Ja be Ja, but it's to an extent to where it affects the team. And as you mentioned, a veteran presence in the locker room, just sort of give them that. They don't have it. I mean, you look at the team, they don't have a voice.
Yeah, and then along, like you mentioned, like Mikal Bridges, they do also need like a third player. They need someone else that can, you know, provide shooting and, you know, guard the perimeter really well, because they have the interior pretty much covered. You know, Jaren Jackson, Defensive Player of the Year. What he's able to do in the paint is crazy. Steven Adams, when he's healthy, you know, he's a really good interior defender as well. So it's just, it's tough, man. I think their front court is pretty set. Brandon Clark, I know he's coming off injury, but when he's, you know, healthy, he's a solid player for them. So, I mean, they have Desmond Bane. He lit up the Lakers last game, but he's also, you know, kind of undersized. He has those really short T-Rex arms. Like, you could use a 3 or a wing defender that, you know, can give you some versatility, give you some length on the perimeter, and can knock down shots. So, I mean, along with everything going on with that team, I do also think they are a few pieces away. Like, this Memphis team, I don't think is ready to win. Like, they do need a few more pieces and to put them over that hump to win a championship.
To win a championship, I would say so. But if they just even wanted a chance to beat the Lakers, obviously Steven Adams, you know, not being there obviously hurts big time. But it's just that culture we were talking about. Just, you know, if they had that culture and Dylan Brooks just shut his mouth and played basketball, and just not be that bad, I think they're fine. Desmond Bane, stellar player, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. He can go get a bucket. That's never been a question. Solid, like, you know, he's a nice player. He's above a role player, but he's not a superstar. Like, you know, he's that nice in-between player. You add, you know, as we said, either like a Mikal Bridges. I mean, that's hard to come by, but you add a piece or two, get that veteran voice, because Steven Adams is literally the only vet on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's not known as, you know, one of those like local
leader,
leaders. Yeah.
Like, I mean,
he
shit,
might
the Grizzlies
be
could use like
Udonis,
Udonis.
but yeah, UD, yeah. All right, have him take up a roster spot on the end of the bench.
I mean, they need it at this point, but
oh man,
yeah, for sure. Enough about the Grizzlies. Looks like the Lakers, I'm gonna say they're gonna wrap up the series. I'm not trying to jinx you Laker fans or anything like that.
They down, I think, 11.5 right now.
Yeah. Down 9.
Oh yeah.
Sixers, they punched the ticket. I mean, they're playing the Nets. Bridges can only do so much. I don't think that's really a touch on. Embiid did have a little injury.
Embiid had a weird round 1, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he got injured, played through the injury, I believe, game 3. So, I mean, you like to see that hard. Embiid, we know he's going to give it his all.
To be honest, I don't even like him trying to play through that injury in this round, because I think even if they lost, then you come back from it. But go ahead.
He didn't even have that, you know, like, dominant of a series, whereas, you know, Nick Claxton was the only true, like, big man the Nets had to put on him. And it kind of seemed like those double teams they were throwing at him was giving him some issues because he would catch it at the free throw line, and then they just send two. At times, you know, he was making the right passes and stuff like that, but it just wasn't really that dominant Embiid performance that we're used to seeing. So I think it'll be very interesting, barring anything crazy with that Boston series, what that round 2 will look like, because we know what the Celtics are capable of offensively, where they give the Sixers some problems with those wing defenders and those guards who there's not really – the Sixers don't really have anyone that can, keep up with them. So Embiid, I think it'll just be – I hate to say this on the topic of injuries, between him and Robert Williams, like who stays healthier the longest. Like I feel like it's inevitable one of those guys will come down with some kind of tweak or bruise or bend that sets him out a game or two, and that game could be very important. So we'll see. It'll be a fun series, competitive series.
Yeah, that's assuming Celtics finish off against the Hawks. They're up 3-2. They were up 3-1, so it'd be hard for the Hawks to come all the way back. But obviously not counting them out yet. But
did you see that the arena, the Atlanta Hawks arena?
Oh, they had to push back. What's her name? Show
Janet Jackson. Yeah, they basically had her concert the same day, like the game.
So I just don't think they would even be playing that day.
Yeah, they thought that they would have lost. Like that's fucked up.
That's what I said. I'm like, bro, they had no faith.
Yeah,
that's some
team,
ATL
bro,
shit, bro. Like, come on, let's be honest. A Janet Jackson concert in fucking 2023. Hilarious.
I don't know. I've never been to ATL, so
neither have I. But it's just what I see. Tobias Harris, though, bro, your boy, we were looking at one of the most efficient shooters in the playoffs. He could be an X factor in that series because obviously Kean, Embiid, Harden, Tobias Harris, if he steps up.
I think the real X factor gonna have to be Maxey though. He stepped up games 3 and 4. Maxey had really, really good games. He kind of went off. I think did he have 30 in both those games? I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know he had big games in games 3 and 4 to close out the series. So
33 and 25.
Yeah. So you feel me? Helping keep up with that perimeter scoring because the Celtics have Tatum, they have Brown. Derek White has played very, very good down the stretch as much as I don't like him. You know what Brogdon offers? He's a solid role player veteran. He can shoot the ball as well. So, the Celtics have guys that can score offensively on the perimeter. So, Maxey's going to have to step up. Harden's going to have to step up and get his shot going again. These guys from the Sixers on the perimeter are going to have to hit shots to kind of keep up. And then, just hope Embiid can give you what he gives you down low in the paint as well to keep up with, the barrage of scoring the Celtics can offer at times when they're clicking. It's like it can come from every fucking where, bro. When those guys have it going, it's tough. So I think that it's going to be more of a can the Sixers keep up offensively with Boston Celtics, and can the Celtics, limit the turnovers and play good defense to keep that lead. Yeah,
Maxey in game. This game only went 4, right?
It was a 4-game shoot. Yeah, they got swept.
So game 2, 13 for 23, 6 of 13 from the 3 with the 33 piece. Then game 3, dropped 25 on 10 for 17, but 5 for 8 from 3. So Maxey definitely stepped up big time in those 2 games, as you mentioned. What other? We talked about Clippers Suns. I feel like we don't even need to touch on that. Nuggets Timberwolves. Ant gave it his all. Kind of proved that that he could be a guy. Cat really not showing up. You could see the pieces just not there for the Timberwolves right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of what you'd expect from an 8th seed. Like, they stole a game. But at the end of the day, if you're a Timberwolves fan, I think you're walking away with your head held high because, you found out like this was Anthony Edwards' like coming home party. Like you finally see like he has the ability to be one of those like premier level players. I believe he averaged like 30 points per game this series. Was shooting the ball from downtown. When just watching him play, he can literally score from anywhere on the court. Like, he gets to his shot. Athletic. He's trying now on defense. He's a pest. He's getting in those passing lanes, stealing the ball, contesting shots at the rim. You kind of saw down the stretch this season him elevate his game. listen, I think Anthony Edwards has the potential to be, you know, a number one option on a championship team. The way he played this series with not much help around him, the way he played down the stretch, I know he had a tough game in the play-in, but, I mean, listen, he was a shot away. That last shot was a good look. I mean, they say the best miss is the back of the rim. So, I mean, it was on target. He played his ass off that series, and I think I don't know about Minnesota, what they're going to do, because, I mean, that front office showed you how much they value Rudy Gobert and what they want to do. But I don't know about Minnesota, but Anthony Edwards individually has a very, very, very bright future.
Yeah.
And he's younger than us, bro. He's 21 years old, dog. Like, and I saw a stat saying I think he has the most 30-point
LeBron
games.
and Kobe.
No, I think he's number 2 now. I think he's number 2. He has the most 30-point playoff games before turning 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think LeBron has 8 and Anthony Edwards has 5.
Yeah. You take away from game 1 against the Nuggets where he dropped 18 in 28 minutes, 6 of 15 shooting, so not the greatest. But after that, 41 on 14 of 23, 60% from 3 on 6 for 10. Game 3, dropped 36, 10 of 22, 3 for 11 from 3. Game 4, dropped 34 on 12 of 27, 5 for 12 from 3. And then last game, dropped 29, went 0 for 6 from 3. He talked about that big missed shot. He went for the game winner on 13 of 27. So, I mean, just below 50%. So, I mean, he's still, like you said, 21 years old. He gets in the lab. He might go from a 35% three-point shooter to a 38 or whatever it is. And then you're talking, you know, he's league average. And then if he's doing that, I mean, they win those games, like at least last game.
And, like, he's this young. And, you know, we're talking about all these guys like Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, the main guy, Kawhi Leonard when he's healthy. Like, these guys that elevate their game in the postseason when it matters the most, when the most eyes are on him. Like, Anthony Edwards is already doing that at 21 years old. So, like, he can only get better, you know, barring any crazy injury or anything like that. You know, if he keeps working and keeps improving, like the track he's on, and he's able to keep elevating his game when it matters the most, I mean, there's no reason why this guy cannot be a number one option on, you know, a championship contender team.
Yeah, so, I mean, D-Book, he's 26. Jimmy Butler, obviously, totally different. I think he's like 33. And who was the other player you mentioned?
Kawhi,
he's in his 30
as well.
So, I mean, you look at it, D-Book, we've been known he's a great player, 26, and he's going off. So he's kind of on that same track Anthony Edwards almost is, because he came into the league young. For D-Book, it was a little different. The Suns were horrible. The Timberwolves, you know, they're middle of the pack. 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, getting into it, playing competitive games in the playoffs, but coming up short regardless.
Well, I would even argue that at this point he's ahead of Devin Booker and he was.
But he's also in a better – I mean, even though Cat's not what you want him to be, it's still probably better than any teammate Devin Booker had in his first couple years in Phoenix. Because that team was horrible.
I mean, even when Devin Booker and the Suns made that run in that, what was it, 2021 when the Bucks won
to the finals.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
Devin Booker was playing good, but it was like everyone knew, like, Chris Paul, like, he was like the main, like, he was the main player. He was the person holding that team together. Devin Booker was hooping. He was getting like 24. Yeah, but it was Chris Paul's team. I mean, at this point, it is projecting, but Anthony Edwards is taking over and he's making this Timberwolves team like his team, and they're competitive, not really competitive, but they were able to steal a game against the number 1 seed in the Western Conference Finals. And like you mentioned, I mean, they do have Cat, Rudy Gobert, defensively, what he brings, slow-mo Kyle Anderson, he's a decent role player, but I don't know, man. I do think they are very comparable players, but I just think the upside of Anthony Edwards is higher than Devin Booker, because this is the first. Now this could be just me, but like this is the first playoff series where it's like Devin Booker has Kevin Durant on his team, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, whatever you think of him, he was a number 1 pick in the draft. Like, this looks like Devin Booker's team. Like, Devin Booker is the number 1 option right now.
He in his finals run, he averaged 28, 4, and 3.5. So I mean, I get what you're saying for sure. I don't think it was ever like totally Chris Paul's team, but I don't think it was Devin Booker's team either.
He wasn't the true number 1.
Yeah,
it was.
I'm just saying like it was
around.
like a 50-50. Chris Paul obviously is a point guard, so he's gonna run the offense, but I don't think.
And he was playing very well that playoff series.
Yeah,
like that stretch.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Now it definitely is D-Book's team, and you are seeing it. So I just want to see Chris.
Yeah,
Paul.
I mean now they got fucking KD sitting in the corner, bro, and running plays through Booker. Like,
yeah, Chris Paul in the finals, 22, 8, and 2. So I mean, pretty similar stat lines. Obviously, Chris Paul more facilitating than a bucket guy in his career, but pretty similar lines. What other Warriors Kings? It's gonna be interesting. We talked about D Fox with that finger injury, left hand, shooting hand, index finger. He's gonna play with a splint on, so we'll see about that. How it affects his shooting. Should be interesting, regardless. Warriors horrible road team, so if they could get one with this Fox injury, I think the Warriors wrap up the series. If they don't get the road, I think the Kings might move on and play the Lakers. Just how bad they've been on the road.
Yeah, I mean, this series right now is pretty much dead even. I mean, Curry and Fox have both been playing like super, super elite guard level playoff basketball. So they've kind of canceled each other out. Clay, he stepped it up. He's played pretty well. And then Malik Monk on the Kings side, I think they got, he's stepped it up tremendously. I don't think anyone thought he'd be doing what he's doing. And then after that, it's just kind of like the role players filling the role. Sabonis kind of had a tough game 3, but I mean, I believe he's averaging, I think, like 11, 12 boards or something like that. He's giving you double-digit rebounds every single game. Draymond, defensively, you know what he brings. He kind of threw Fox off of his game a little bit in Game 3 when they had Draymond switch on Fox a little bit. Played really good on Sabonis. So I think it's just going to come down to, it's a lot of good players on both teams on the court right now. I honestly think this series is going to come down to Kerr versus Brown, man. The head coaches, how they scheme up, what defenses do they throw at each other, because both teams have enough players to win. Like, they have enough on either side to get it done. I think it's going to come down to scheme, which coach can put their players in better positions and draw up the better plays to give that slight edge, because I think on the court, it's kind of, like talent-wise, they're pretty neck and neck. So one of these teams is going to have to get a little something extra from either their coach, or one of these players is going to have to like step up, one of these role players, and elevate their game to kind of steal a game on the road, or elevate their game at home and kind of, just put that team over the hump. Because right now, like you said, like the series is 2-2, it's a deadlock. Like, it can go either way. And
I think you mentioned it. I think the Warriors kind of got the edge. One, with the Fox injury, don't know how it's going to affect him too much. Regardless of that, Kerr, he's been here. He's a proven winner and NBA Finals champ. And I think the other X factor is we haven't seen Jordan Poole step up. Jordan Poole, you talked about those role players. Jordan Poole's that guy. He has that experience. So if you see him kind of step it up here, I think that really gives the Warriors that road victory they kind of need.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be tough because, I mean, we saw it last year in the playoffs where, when Curry was injured, round 1, Jordan Poole went off, like carried the Warriors. It was crazy. But then in round 2, Curry's like, oh, I'm willing to come off the bench, like let Poole start, like I'm willing to help. Round 3, it's like, okay, now Curry's back, Poole's back on the bench, and then in the finals, like, he really didn't even play that much. Like, he played and stuff, but nothing remotely, like, close to, what he was doing in the regular season. And, in that first round of the playoffs. So, we tend to see Kerr steer away from the younger guys, down the stretch when they need to win. So it'll be tough to, see Poole get that opportunity. But I don't know. You mentioned Poole. Yeah, it'd be cool to see him go off and have a really good game because, at this point we know what Poole is. He's basically like a glorified shot chucker. Like, we know what he is. Like, he's going to shoot the ball. He's going to go crazy, do his fancy layups and deep threes and step backs and stuff. But on defense, what will he really give you? So it'll be interesting, man.
Yeah, last game, 22 points in 26 minutes. Pretty good. The game before that, 28 minutes, 16 points. And it really, I don't even need to say his other stats. They're not too good. But, 26 minutes in a playoff game, your key guys are playing 40 minutes. So you could clearly see, I bet if I see Curry, it's 43, 37, 41. Those are all his minutes. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, as you mentioned, those guys not on the court. But it's going to be interesting to see. You already know you got the Warriors coming out of this from your take earlier.
Especially now with the Fox injury. I think it's going to be tough. That
Fox injury is tough, but I'm still rocking with Light the Beam. I don't think it'll happen, but people were saying they're America's team right now.
Fox said he's going to play through it, and he's going to be on the court, so you still have to respect him. It's just, how much is he limited? Mm-hmm.
He said no ifs, ands, or buts on playing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be wrapped up and off some painkillers.
Yeah, Grizzlies up 1, 10 minutes in the third. Knicks up 11, 9 minutes left. Looks like it's going to be wrapping up a season for Cleveland. Regardless, Lakers looking like they might have a chance to move on. Grizzlies trying to stay alive. Tough series. We'll see.
Real quick, Denver Phoenix preview. What you think, round 2?
I got Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think it goes at least 6. Could possibly see 7 depending on the duo between Murray and Jokic. But Murray, he's stepped it up. He's playing really good. Bubble Murray, you could possibly say. So that's really the X factor. Not even if Murray's the guy. Chris Paul, he's a good defender, but Murray's too big for him. Chris Paul's undersized. Murray's gonna give him matchup nightmares. So I really think that's kind of the X factor in this game, in that series, not just game. And we'll see it. We'll see what Ayton could probably do against Jokic. Do they expose Jokic on the defensive end? We'll see. What about you?
I like the Nuggets, man. And
you like the Nuggets?
I do like the Nuggets. So I said Phoenix could be. I thought Phoenix was going to be really good, but I think this series especially is just going to come down to
chemistry,
and the way these these modern super teams are built in the NBA. On the Nuggets, you got Jamal Murray and Jokic, players they drafted, mid-level guys they brought in. Caldwell Pope, Aaron Gordon, these guys are not superstars, but they fit the system, Whereas on Phoenix, you bring Durant in mid-season. You bring Chris Paul in. I know he's been on that team already. He fits the culture, but it's just they don't have anything else besides KD and Devin Booker.
And Aiden's never really bought in. He's never been 100%.
No, and then you said they tried to expose Jokic on the defensive end. Jokic could just torment Ayton down low, so that's gonna be tough. And I was looking at the minutes and stuff of game 5 that they played against the Clippers. The Suns had 5 players play over 30 minutes, and their 6th player, I believe, played 16 minutes.
Well, DeAndre Ayton played 21.
So DeAndre Ayton, and then their 7th man, DeAndre had 21, and their 6th man, I believe, had 16 minutes. I think that was Okogie or somebody. But regardless, they have no depth, bro. It's super hard to just rely on just 5 guys for this long to make this deep of a playoff run, especially when you're playing someone like Nikola Jokic, who's going to make you work on both ends of the floor. And the guards and stuff are going to have to be on their toes as well because we know how good of a passer he is. He's going to be hitting these open players. He's going to be, finding the cutting person towards the basket. So it's not like Devin Booker can go all out on offense, get his 30, 40 points, and then on defense, just sit in the corner and try to guard the off man. Like, Jokic is going to make you work, bro. He's going to make the right pass. He's going to hit the open player. And like you mentioned, Jamal Murray, he's going to get a bucket. Aaron Gordon, he can score. Michael Porter, is he going to have a game where his shot's falling? Like, it's a bunch of players on this Denver team that can score the ball. Whereas, yeah, the Suns do have more talent. I think talent-wise, you just look at it on paper, they're the better team. But I just think that chemistry and depth is going to be a little too much in Denver to overcome for the Phoenix Suns. Now, maybe going into next season, after they have this playoff run and a whole season of chemistry together because, they've only played, I believe, 13 games together, dog. Like,
not a lot.
It's tough to go out there and, ask a team to win a championship like that, no matter who's on the court. And it's just times they look out of place together. So, Chris Paul, he's still a good player, but not what he was remotely, like, even on that championship run a few years back. So it's going to be tough, man. You want to see more from KD, although he hasn't really need to shown it because Devin Booker's been stepping up and showing out. But definitely to beat this Denver team, I think he's going to need more. And I think we'll eventually see him get more comfortable and more involved as the series goes on, as the playoff goes on. But I don't know, man. I just think Jokic and Jamal Murray and Jokic's ability to, like, if you're not going to send two, I think he's going to make Ayton's life hell, and Ayton gets in foul trouble. Like, who are the Suns going to throw at Jokic? Like, Bismack Biyombo? Like, come on, bro.
Turn back the clock,
I'm taking Jokic fucking 10 times out of 9 on that shit. You feel me? So
I did make a mistake with the Ayton. He played 36 minutes, but you were right. Josh Okogie or
Okogie? Yeah.
Okogie. He was the only other player to really play prominent minutes. You're right. I looked at it. T.J. Warren, Terrence Ross.
They're getting
maybe
PMPs.
Torrey Craig.
They're not getting any minutes. Torrey Craig had like 6 minutes. Like, it's the fucking
7th. So Torrey Craig. So it's Torrey Craig, and then Josh are the only rotation players that they have. Those are the only two guys. Maybe Bismack.
CP is playing 37 minutes.
Yeah, Bismack puts up like 12. So, like, when Ayton's not on a court, it's Bismack for 12 minutes a game.
Yeah.
I see it. It's going to be an interesting series.
I think it'll be a fun series.
I want to see how it plays out for sure. Heat win Game 5? Or you think it goes... What do you think the series goes for the Heat?
But I think there's a reality where Milwaukee wins 3 straight and they close the series out. And then I also think there's another reality where Jimmy just puts his cape on again and closes it out tonight. I think the more like normal or
Heat and
average
6
would be, Heat and 6. But I'm going to say they get it done tonight, man. On the road.
All right.
In Milwaukee. Jimmy coming off a 56-point game. I feel like the other role players seeing, Jimmy go all out. They like, damn, I got to step up. Like, I can't have Jimmy doing all this on his own. They want to help Jimmy. So, I'm going to say watch out for a big game from Bam tonight, man.
Bam, I was going to say.
I think Bam steps up.
I don't think Jimmy gets it done. He might get it done 20, maybe 30 points. Obviously, nothing more than 40. But I do think if the Heat win tonight, it has to be someone else. And you're saying it's Bam?
Because people have been calling. They've been trade him.
Me,
like he's ice.
You should have heard the fans behind me at the game, man.
Like I've seen.
I told you trade this bum. Like I was like, all right.
All the TikTok memes, the IG memes. It's everywhere, man. Everyone's clowning Bam. So there's every time for him to step up, it'd be tonight.
Oh, it for sure would. I love Bam. He doesn't show up in those big time games, and I hope he proves me wrong. And then off season, they always talk about the jumper. But he catches the ball maybe 12 feet out, and Brook Lopez was standing under the fucking rim. Like, if you can't hit that, 50% of the time. I mean, it should be 100. I mean, there's wide open, close shot.
Yeah.
You should be able to make. We'll see tonight. I think bold take, man. I think it's a Kyle Lowry type game. he did it in the play-in. I think he shows up again. We'll see about it. Maybe Kevin Love turning back the clock. Now I'm just talking bullshit at that point, but we'll see, man.
I think if they had Hero, it'd be no doubt, man. I think that's a major loss, man.
Same here.
It's the second playoffs in a row he hasn't.
And I expect Middleton and Holiday playing at home to play way better than they did. Last game.
Offensively, bro, Holiday is like, bro. I just think he plays too reckless, bro.
I mean, he goes quick. He goes quick for sure.
Sometimes it seems like he's just like out of control when he's just dribbling and driving and just jumping around and stuff. It doesn't seem like he has like any like, what's the word? Like he has no control. Like I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Or like purpose. Like he's just out there just dribbling and running around, bro. Like when Giannis gets the ball, you can tell like, all right, Giannis is like he's gonna go to the rack, he's gonna score. Like like what Giannis can do. You know what Brook Lopez can do. And Drew Holiday, yeah, he can score and stuff, but I don't know, it's just weird. Maybe it's just like his game, the way he plays. Like I don't know, it just looks weird on the court.
He doesn't really have too much of a bag. I think that's why you're.
I mean, he does somewhat. I mean,
like he
hit the step back three. Like he can get into his bag. It's just like the way he moves on the court. It's just like seems like careless. Like he's just running around. Like he's loose. Like he's just out there. I don't know.
I feel that.
But shit, he had 51 this season, so I can't say too much.
Yeah. Any last comments you got before we sign off?
I just remembered I had a hot or not, but I forgot to put it down. We'll make it quick. It's football. Okay. Hot or not, the Jets have the ability to become the second best team in the AFC East.
That's a hot take. Anyways, I forgot we didn't break the Aaron Rodgers trade. Dude, I don't get it. You saw what he did last year in Green Bay. You could say whatever.
You don't think this Jets team better?
If 100% is better. Defensively, they got a team. They have weapons. Rodgers adds that veteran presence. They're not better than the Dolphins, not better than the Bills. It leaves them at the third best team. And I still think they're out-coached and out-schemed on that side of things. And you got Rodgers, who is not a leader, not at all. It's always been a question of his character, his entire career. I mean, I don't see it. He's 37 years old, whatever it is. Yeah, they might be a wild card team. They're still the third best team. They're not two. I'll take Skylar Thompson in the Dolphins over Aaron Rodgers. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's a hot take in my opinion. I'm glad you asked that. It got me fired up. Yeah, it wraps up. Forgot we got to break that Rodgers trade news. Yeah, draft tomorrow.
Yeah.
So gonna see,
draft. It'll probably be over by the time this is posted. So
Yeah, well, at least round one will, it'll probably be in progress, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, we'll see.
Hopefully, the Eagles bring in an offensive weapon. That's all I'm gonna say.
You saw the reports.
I saw a lot of different reports.
JSN possibly add another one
saying JSN, Bijan, Derrick Henry, hey man, I'm all for it.
Dalvin Cook's linked to the Dolphins now too, bro. So that'd be a homecoming for Dalvin Cook.
That would be. That'd make the offense interesting.
Yeah, add another.
How much more help does Tua need?
How much help does Jalen Hurts need?
Fam, you see what Jalen Hurts is capable of. We don't know what Tua is capable of.
He did before he got fucking almost his career ended. All right. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see when it comes to this season. I'm not on that Dylan Brooks shit, man. let the game and the tape do the talking, regardless.
But knowing Howie, we'll probably draft fucking Peter Skoronski and then some defensive player.
Jalen Reagor.
I don't even think they take. I think they'll trade pick 30. on the whole, this is like a different, like going down on like a different thing, or whatever. But I did see reports saying that the Eagles are looking to trade up in the draft and try to get one of those premier pass rushers. Will Anderson, a Jalen Carter, if one of those start to slide.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw Carter linked to the Seahawks, obviously. I think it took him in our draft. And then Anthony Richardson,
I saw reports
a possibility.
recently saying the Cardinals don't want to. I mean, the Seahawks don't want to take him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I also saw Richardson linked to him. So we'll see. We'll come back with a...
And C.J. Stroud's supposed to fall.
Full breakdown.
He's the dumbest quarterback.
Yeah, he said, I'm not a test taker. I play.
He had like an 80% on the S2 cognitive test. So
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. That's for sure. We'll come back,
Shout out Stroud, man.
Grade that first round and picks we liked, whatever.
The Browns trade up and draft who?
No, they're not trading. No, they have nothing to trade. Like, there's nothing to trade.
Dolphins move back into the first round and select
nobody. They're not trading up either. You're getting Dalvin Cook, so you should go ahead and mark Dalvin Cook, Raheem Mostert, and I can't even think right now.
Jeff Wilson,
thank you. Three-headed monster.
And Chosen Anderson, man. Don't forget.
Yeah, I forgot Chosen Anderson, man.
Him or Braxton Berrios. Who's going to be wide receiver 3? Trent Sherfield?
Well, I think Sherfield might be moved. We'll see. I gotta look at it, but Trent Sherfield's better than both those guys. So.
Honestly, he could be receiver 2.
I mean, on another team, yeah. But we'll see.
No, on the Dolphins.
All right, anyways.
Fam, just let Jalen Waddle work in the slot, fam.
I mean, yeah, you can let him work in the slot. It still doesn't mean he's the 3.
Just let him vibe out on the outside.
I'm not mad at it. I'd be fine with that.
Honestly, if you want to say he deserved more targets than Tyreek, I understand.
Who?
Anderson.
All right, bro. This is where we got to end the podcast, man. Episode 38. You're just getting a reaction now. Episode 38, man. Goal2Go pod on TikTok. Goal2Go on YouTube, obviously, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever platform you're on, man. We'll be back next week. More NBA updates and NFL draft news. Till then, man. Appreciate y'all.